We got one game left. Who knows? Maybe that one will find some bonus hoops as well. Rob Stone, Tariq Turner, Austin Crozier here with you. Coming up next, the fifth and final game of our Big East Marathon. It's going to come your way from Omaha, Nebraska as well. Creighton, probably the best scoring team in the league, taking on Tariq Marquette, the team that everybody figured is going to win this conference when it's all said and done.
Yeah, Marquette's been a little bit of a disappointment. And you know, I think they've had a tough schedule, so you give them that. In terms of factoring why they haven't won as much. But Creighton's very dominant offensively. They score over 80 points a game, shoot 49% from the field, and they lead the Big East in assists. Very efficient, very good at spacing, and they have the best player in the conference in Doug McDermott.
Yeah, and I think that Creighton, on paper, this is the opponent that they are supposed to struggle against, a team that has size and depth in the front court. Now, I don't know if they're going to slow Creighton down because they have the ability to pull the bigger players away from the basket with their three-point shooting with McDermott and Raggi. But the question mark and the two statistics I think you look at the end of the game are going to be points in the paint and second chance opportunities. If Creighton can get big numbers down low and on the boards, if Marquette can get big numbers on the boards and down low, I think they're going to have a good chance to offset that great offense of Creighton.
Tariq, what has McDermott shown you so far this season?
He's just a versatile scorer. He kills you inside, very efficient on the glass, about 8 boards a game, and he's a deep long ball shooter. He's probably the best scorer we've seen in college this year.
I think the other thing is a lot of question marks about his athleticism coming into the year, and I don't think that that's really valid. You know, he's not a guy that really plays above the rim, but he has a very quick first step. He's as good as anybody moving without the basketball. When you think of great shooters, you know, defenses focus on them every single night. They have to get their shots off in a quick period of time, and he does that as good as anybody.
Well, the one thing that I am interested to see is how will he play against length and athleticism, a front line like Marquette, with Otule, Gardner, and Wilson at 6'8", 6'9", mobile, athletic, guys that have long reach. How will he play against guys like that? We'll see tonight.
There are some folks questioning Marquette and the scheduling that Buzz Williams and his AD at the time did. You know, a tough non-conference schedule works for some people, works against others. We'll see how it works once conference play begins in seconds. Marquette, Creighton from Omaha. Here's the two calling the game for you. Justin Kutcher, Donnie Marshall. Gentlemen.
Thank you so much, Rob. Here we are in Omaha, Nebraska. These fans are ready to start Big East Conference play. The first ever game in the Big East Conference for these Creighton Blue Jays. It is college hoops here on Fox. The fifth and final game of our New Year's Eve quintuple header. The Marquette Golden Eagles come here to take on Creighton. And hello, everybody. Justin Kutcher alongside Donnie Marshall. And Donnie, what a day of basketball it's been so far here on FS1. And what better way to wrap it up? The first ever game here in this arena. You could feel the excitement as Big East Conference starts.
Listen, I don't know if this is huge like Henry Ford in the Model T or Steve Jobs and the iPhone, but this is most definitely historic for this crowd. They understand it's a new era. It's the Big East, and the games we've seen earlier today have really proved that.
You talk about it being historic. They have an historic player in Doug McDermott.
He's amazing, isn't he? I mean, that's the best way to describe him. We haven't seen a player like him in a long time. He never really settles. He'll get to the free throw line. He works hard without the basketball, as hard as anyone in the country, but he can knock down that long ball.
As far as Marquette is concerned, they rely on a guy who doesn't even start for them, and that's Devontae Gardner.
Well, he's going to have to use all of that 280, 290 weight out on the court because he understands he can carve his way through. And Creighton, they are thin inside. Buzz Williams is going to have to exploit that.
Let's take a look at our starting lineups here for tonight. As we saw Devontae Gardner doing some crunches. Jamil Wilson will be starting. He suffered a knee injury Saturday against Samford. He was questionable. He is in the starting lineup. And for Creighton, Ethan Raggi has been inserted into that lineup. They are 5-0 with him there. Buzz Williams in his 6th year, all he has done as the head coach at Marquette is win 130 games, 8 NCAA tournament wins. And on the other side, it is Greg McDermott, the father of Doug McDermott. He is 90-32 here at Creighton. And Creighton wins the tip. They are in gray, Marquette is in blue, and we are underway. Austin Chapman will run the point here for the Creighton Blue Jays. First touch for McDermott, top of the key, 3.
Started the game on Sunday against Chicago State the same way. They know exactly who they are. They are not going to change for anyone.
This place will be electric here tonight. This is the shooter here for Marquette, Jake Thomas. Juan Anderson, top of the key three, no good. And the rebound into the hands of Jahen's Maniga.
One thing you can't get caught up into if you're Marquette is trying to play the way Creighton does from behind the arc.
Grant Gibbs up top now to Raggi. He's a three-point shooter. That's short. A rare miss. He's 50% from three-point land.
He's 1 for 5 inside of 2 this season.
Nearly an offensive foul. Anderson, the putback, no good. The rebound for Ethan Raggi.
You can feel the energy. The players have some jitters. But they're going to play through that. This crowd will calm down a little bit. Marquette just has to stay calm.
McDermott picked up by Jamil Wilson. The kick out into the corner. Maniga for three. No good. And the rebound for Juan Anderson. Anderson a little bit confused with the ball in his hands. Devontae Gardner already getting set to go to the scores table to check in.
Buzz Williams wasting no time getting his stud in the game. He has to try to create a tempo for Marquette.
Ochule with the size and strength gets fouled. He'll go to the free throw line. Let's go back to that first possession here for Creighton.
Well, talk about a guy who moves so well without the basketball. There's no way Marquette should not know where he is on the floor. Doug McDermott and the crowd loves it. You let them creep into the game early. Marquette, you're going to be in trouble. You got to be able to find a way to slow him down.
Ochule at the line. Senior averaging 7.2 points per game, makes the first free throw. How about the keys to this game?
Yeah, it's pretty simple. You know, I like to keep it basic. If you're on the road and you're Marquette, you have to control the paint both ends. You have to understand where guys are cutting through. Be physical. Be who you are. That's what Buzz Williams said to us today. We're a physical team. On the other side, Creighton, move without the basketball. Keep your spacing. You can't get bunched up.
Ochule, a 55% free throw shooter, makes both. Substitution. Checking for the first time is Deontay Burton replacing Jamil Wilson. Also in the game for Marquette, Todd Mayo for the first time.
As you watch these two teams and shoot around and last games, Creighton is a thin team. They are a jump shooting team. On the other side, you have some grown men bodies for Marquette. Deontay Burton being one of those as a freshman. Looks like a grown-up out there.
They're like an old-school Big East team.
They really are. And Creighton has to come in and say, we don't care what the Big East style is. We're going to play our game.
Chapman gets inside, kicks out. Maniga for three. Long. McDermott fighting for the rebound, taken away by Wilson. Thomas pushes off, offensive foul. Second time we've seen a Marquette player do that. First time we've seen it get called for an offensive foul.
Yeah, talking to Buzz Williams today, he said he needs Jake Thomas to play with some confidence. This will not give a guy who's the best shooter on the team confidence when he has an offensive foul call. That's not the way you want to start the game if you're Thomas. You got to keep your head. I love the aggressiveness, but you have to always stay confident, especially on the road.
Grant Gibbs, the one who drew the offensive foul. Devontae Gardner has checked in. To the bench goes Chris Ochule. 3-2, Creighton leading early on here. The first 3 points of this ball game were a three by Doug McDermott. Raggi for three. He's 0 for 2. And you can see the frustration. He's not used to that. Jamil Wilson quickly back the other way. He got fouled, and that foul will be against Grant Gibbs.
Raggi's a guy, we saw him out here almost at half court warming up today, shooting threes. I mean, the numbers on this kid, folks, is absolutely amazing. He has, coming into this game, 96 field goals, 91 made from three-point range. I mean, this is amazing to me. That's your center. On paper, that's your center, but you know exactly what he's going to do if you're Marquette.
Deontay Burton, offensive foul against Burton.
I like it. Jahen's Maniga, he knows he's a smart player. He beat you to the spot. And I always tell young players, show your hands. So there's no hand check. Show the ref your hands, move your feet, take a charge just like that.
Deontay Burton goes to the bench. Juan Anderson is in with Derek Wilson, Todd Mayo, Devontae Gardner, and Jamil Wilson for Marquette. McDermott From inside, able to put it in. A little floater. He's got all 5 here for Creighton.
Why will he be the Big East Player of the Year, hands down, because of plays like that? He doesn't settle for threes. He's an intelligent basketball player.
Anderson the kick out. Gardner free throw line jumper is good.
Love it. Get your big fella into the game. You know what he can do down in the low block downstairs. Give him a nice little 15-foot jumper.
McDermott against the quickness of Jamil Wilson. This is a test a lot of people want to see from McDermott. How does he do against a guy like Wilson? Rogge for 3. Now he hits it.
Not going to stop shooting. You run at him with your hands down. That's what my mom would call sinful. You know exactly what he's doing. Keep your hand up, make him beat you off the dribble.
4-point lead for Creighton. Mayo gets inside, kicks it out. Anderson puts it on the floor. Mayo for 3. Back of the rim, rebound by Juan Anderson. Fresh 35 here for Marquette.
And normally not a struggle for Creighton defensively rebounding. That was one of Marquette's things coming into tonight's game. One of their keys. We have to get on the offensive glass and give ourselves extra opportunities.
Wilson against McDermott. Out of bounds, off of Wilson. Creighton, they lead by 4 thanks to a couple threes. One by McDermott, one by Rogge. In the first Big East Conference game ever for the Creighton Blue Jays. Welcome back to Fox College Hoops, presentation of Big East basketball brought to you by the New York Life Insurance Company. Back here in Omaha at CenturyLink Center, Omaha. It is 8-4, and watch how Doug McDermott has to get open.
Movement, sets the screen, he pops, he already hit a 3 at the top, he rolls, spin move, nice little floater. Shows you not only how good his feet are, Dutch, but it shows you his touch. Not just from three-point range, nice little floater. If you don't have that shot in your game today, it's hard to function as a scorer in basketball.
And you said it, this guy is not just a standstill shooter. He can get inside, he can post up. I mean, you talked to me off the air about how good his footwork is.
And that's what I watch. When you watch shooters, very, very good shooters, you see that they get their feet set before anything else coming off those screens.
O'Toole is back in the game. Maniga, he gets called for the offensive foul. Drawing it is Jake Thomas.
And I don't know if Buzz Williams is going to be able to keep that bow tie on. That thing's going to pop off. He's yelling because he understands. You need Thomas on the floor. Offensive charge earlier, now he takes a charge. That's great basketball by the youngster.
I'm impressed that he wore the bow tie here for New Year's Eve. I'm actually upset, the two of us, that we didn't.
Yeah, we didn't get the memo.
Derek Wilson not want to look for a shot. Burton will miss the jumper. And the loose ball rebound comes down to Austin Chapman.
Well, they're not above the rim, Creighton, but they will put a body on guys.
Maniga puts it on the floor all the way to the hoop.
He could be the X factor. While they're running out to guys with their hands up, waiting for jump shots, Maniga could be the guy that comes in and beats Marquette's guards off the dribble.
Mayo wearing that face mask. He broke his nose a few games ago against Ball State. Mayo the pull-up jumper for 2. And a good box out there by McDermott.
I mean, look at the box out. 3 guys. Even if it was on 1, you go secure that basketball once you have bodies behind you.
Maniga for 3. Short rebound by Deonte Burton. Wilson hangs in the air, puts it up, no good. O'Toole the rebound, and putback misses from up close. O'Toole now to the reverse.
Big fella, keep the ball high. He's been here, what, 15 years it feels like at Marquette? He's in his 6th year. He has to know, keep that basketball high. No shot blockers on Creighton's side, but he continued to work at it.
4-point lead here for Creighton. Just about 6:15 into the ball game. McDermott, top of the key, 3, got it again.
I would say that is a pure shooter under duress. Did not let the defense affect him.
And now a foul away from the ball against Chris O'Toole.
Coach, this game tonight is going to be played between the ears. It has to be cerebral. for Marquette. You can't play bully ball, not in this building. Check out the work. O'Toole, keep it high, but he stays with it. Again, no bigs, no one playing above the rim, and then you use the rim to help you. And look at this. All McDermott was missing there was maybe the falling down to the ground. Probably could have got an and one.
An and one, yeah. Going for a 4-point play. McDermott averages almost 25 points per game. Second in the country behind Antoine Mason of Niagara, who's averaging 29.1. McDermott gets it blocked by Wilson, gets it back and puts it in.
How
Here
can you
comes
guard it?
Marquette.
How can you guard it, Coach? He just knows what he's doing all over the floor.
Jawan Johnson in for the first time. Gardner back on the floor. Johnson for three. And a rebound. Pulled down there by Will Artino.
Marquette needs to slow down a little bit, work on their spacing. Gardner has to catch that ball closer to the basket.
Skip pass. Brooks for three. Got it!
Marquette,
15-4 Creighton run, and they lead 18-6. A 15-4 run for Creighton. They now lead by 12. And Donnie, let's go back to that last play and the spacing for this Blue Jays team.
When you overplay, what happens is you have a ton of space on the weak side, and now you have a big running to a three-point shooter. And once the three-point shooters from Creighton catch the basketball, it's almost too late. You just have to wish for a miss.
Creighton 4 for 10 from three-point land. They shoot 43.7% as a team on the year. And this has got to be one of the fears for Buzz Williams and Marquette. You cannot allow this Creighton team to get too far out in front because they don't have the offensive firepower to get back in.
Well, here's the thing. Unlike most coaches who coach their sons, Greg McDermott gives his son some rest. Now let's see if Marquette can take advantage of Dougie McDermott on the bench right now.
And he's on the bench right now because at the under 12 timeout, it'll be immediate timeout. It's a little extra break here for McDermott. Thomas for three. They need him to get going, and he hits it.
Pretty good screen there by Wilson. And that is just a great sign for Thomas. Down at one end, what does he do? He takes a charge. Now he comes down the other end, knocks down a three-pointer.
Raggi, he answers with a three. His second three. Gardner posting up, good position. Offensive foul. Creighton not known for their defense, but they're doing it with some charges. These guys are getting into it. 21-9, Creighton on top. Well, this is the fifth game of this quintuple header here on Fox Sports 1, kicking off the new year and Big East basketball. And look at what happened. Xavier won by 10 over St. John's. Seton Hall won in double OT over Providence. Georgetown able to hold off DePaul. And how about the overtime game between Villanova and Butler just before us? What a day of basketball, and we get to finish it off here in a packed house.
And not just basketball. You know, growing up in Connecticut, and obviously me playing my ball in college in the Big East, this is Big East basketball. 2 overtime games, are you kidding me?
It's the way basketball was meant to be played. Checking in for the first time, Isaiah Zierden, number 21 for Creighton. Devin Brooks gets it outside to Will Artino.
Brooks is their wild card. They've really been working with him mentally to try to keep him engaged and not do that right there.
Here comes Jawan Johnson. He gets it swatted by Artino. For a team that's not known for their defense, they're playing pretty good defense here in the first 8 minutes or so.
Well, they're pursuing the basketball. They're not giving up on it here. Turnover can't happen, but your teammates, they pick you up. Artino running the floor, coming up with a nice block shot.
Artino, the one guy with real size on this Creighton team at 6'11". Jamil Wilson on the wing, picked up by Avery Dingman. Wilson, good jump stop, but he slipped a little bit and traveled, and now Doug McDermott will check back in here for the Blue Jays.
Yeah, we said off the top, one team, best defensive team in this conference, the other team, best offensive team, but Creighton is now looking like, hey, we can play defense as well. They're packing it in. They're forcing Marquette to shoot over the top or drive and create travels.
In the last 3 years under Greg McDermott, they have improved each and every year defensively. Dingman gets the screen. McDermott has a size advantage. Chapman, shot clock at 8. Zierden for 3. That's off the mark. And we've got a foul here called against Thomas on the box out. That's going to be number 2 against Jake Thomas. He is the one true outside threat for Marquette, so that's big.
The thing you love about it is not just activity to try to score. Look at McDermott carving out space to try to get an offensive rebound. And there, Thomas was just backing up, boxing out, and McDermott happened to jump at the same time.
So what do you think? Is that a no call?
I think it's a no call.
Yeah.
Tell them both, get up, let's keep it going.
McDermott guarded now by Burton. And he gets called for steps.
Pretty good D right there by Burton. You have to understand, McDermott loves the spin. He's not a guy that's going to beat you off with a dribble. He doesn't play around with the basketball between the legs, the herky-jerky. He's trying to get to a spot. But to get to that spot, he has to spin. Burton defended it perfectly.
Jamil Wilson will run the point here with Derek Wilson out. Burton, aggressive take to the hoop, able to put it in.
He's a man-child. He's going to be very, very special for Buzz Williams.
Buzz Williams says the minute he starts learning to play defense, he'll be really good. Here comes Marquette. Wilson running the floor.
You have numbers. You got to score here.
The kick out. O'Toole on the block. Little jump hook from inside.
That's all you need, big fella. Carve out your space, get your spot, and nice little jump hook.
Good ball movement here. Chapman passed up an open look. Burton the other way. Watch out as he gets fouled going up by Austin Chapman.
Really good stuff right here, Marquette. You get into a timeout. You understand you have to have patience, Burton. Nice little rip through. Force Raggi to guard you. And look at the entry pass from Burton as well. And all you got to do, big fella, go over that left shoulder. I mean, you can make that shot. You can make that shot, Touch.
I wouldn't be able to shoot from down there.
It really is an easy game. But when you're on the road, your emotions get going a little bit. We know Buzz Williams is an emotional coach. So how does his team kind of generate their own emotion but keep it calm? They're starting to do that now.
Deonte Burton, a 68% free throw shooter on the season. 1 of 2 at the line, 7-point ball game, 9:52 to go here in the first half. The 5th and final game of this New Year's Eve quintuple header. As we'll bring you up to the ball dropping. Austin Chapman swings it out. Dingman for 3. And a rebound for Jamil Wilson.
Have to pick your poison, that would be the guy. Good defensive set right there. Stay home on McDermott.
Wilson kept the pivot foot down. Mayo the floater. In and out. And a rebound for Dingman. McDermott was running the floor, was asking for the ball, posting up. Repost. Faces a double team. Chapman was open underneath the hoop. Corner 3, you better believe it, Raggi again.
Again, not the guy you want to be ball watching on. You stay home and get it. You have to be, like my coach has said, stay in his job.
And that's a smart play by Marquette and O'Toole. Go right back at Raggi because maybe you can get him into some foul trouble.
Tell you what, though, Greg McDermott said after their game Sunday against Chicago State, he told me, listen, we'll exchange 3 for 2 all night long.
McDermott misses the 3. Good rebound by Maniga. Dingman left open for 3. Short, another rebound, this time for Chapman.
Boy, I got to tell you, if I was a player playing alongside McDermott and I knew that they were going to double and triple team him, I'm working on my jump shot every day after practice because they're going to be wide open.
McDermott trying to avoid the charge. He cannot.
We talk about how he shoots, how he moves without the ball, but you see that one deficiency that he has, right? Off the dribble a little bit. They're off balance. You won't see him get off balance a lot. But the defense, I think, really is what caused that more than the out-of-control offensive player.
That is the first foul against McDermott, the team's 5th. Both teams with 5 fouls here in this first half. Checking back in is Derek Wilson from Marquette. Devontae Gardner also back in. Otule goes to the bench with 8 points. Wilson the kick out. Mayo, he steps on the sideline of a turnover here for Marquette. Ethan Wragge's got 3 3-pointers already in this ball game. When we come back, we'll show you how he got this open and how he hits another 3. 8-point lead for the Creighton Blue Jays, 24-16 over Marquette, and let's go inside the Lexus playbook.
We'll show you a little how potent this offense is and what they do. Look at this, Doug McDermott, he drags 3 guys right in here. So what that means is the opposite side of the floor is going to be wide open. It's amazing that Marquette is sagging this far off. You just can't do that because you know a guy like Wragge is as smooth as a Lexus. I mean, in our Lexus playbook, it just cannot happen time and time again.
50.5% on the season from three-point land is Ethan Wragge. This team, they love to shoot 3-pointers.
He's only taken 5 2-point shots all season. It's amazing to me.
Maniga on the floor with Austin Chapman. Artino. Grant Gibbs, who's playing with 2 fouls. Artino with 8 on the shot clock, goes to reverse and puts it in.
What a bonus. What a bonus when you can have at least some semblance of a presence down in the paint, even if it's only for 1 possession.
Wilson lost it on the way up. McDermott, you could see, didn't want to go for that ball and afraid of picking up that second foul. Wilson, the jumper from 16 is good.
Gonna have to step up. Mayo, Gardner, Wilson, they're gonna have to carry their team, especially on that offensive end.
Gibbs thought about the 3. Chapman asking for the screen. Good cut there by McDermott, can't finish though.
Tried to avoid the charge there. Pretty good slide in by Wilson.
There's Jamil Wilson again hitting his 2nd straight jumper. And it's a 6-point ball game.
There's some question coming in whether he was going to play that sprained knee. It looks fine to me.
McDermott against Wilson. McDermott now on the block. Trying to draw the foul. Able to recover the ball. Shot clock at 10. Chapman for 3. Got it.
What can you do? You have guards who play the game the right way and can also, by the way, knock down an open jump shot.
Austin Chapman shoots almost 41% from three-point land. Mayo gets a screen by Gardner. He'll take the 3. No good. And a rebound by Grant Gibbs.
And that's not the shot you want from Mayo. He's shooting 36% from there.
Maniga for 3.
6-point swing. Buzz Williams does not like it, and I don't blame him. You can get that shot anytime if you're Marquette. And now what happens is Creighton makes you pay at the other end. It just can't happen. You're on the road, this crowd, this building into it. You're playing right into that. You have to play smarter basketball.
8 for 19 from three-point land. Doug McDermott, everyone talks about his scoring. Well, he's a leader of this team, and he's a leader by example as well.
I mean, he catches the ball in the paint, tried to draw the foul, stays with it, 4 guys around him, makes the pass out. I mean, most players would be complaining right now to the ref to call the foul.
You're right.
He plays basketball. I mean, he really is great for the game. He is, if this is your preseason and then postseason player of the year in the Big East, you should be proud of that if you play in this conference.
Creighton played St. Joe's back on November 16th. After that game, Phil Martelli, the head coach for St. Joe's, said, the country is gaga over these freshmen, but McDermott is the best player in the country. Tell me, who does more for their team? They can give the awards at the end of the year to the freshmen because of media blitz, but that kid is magnificent, a magnificent player.
Yeah, you know, Jabari Parker fans may have some questions about that, but I tell you what, to be as polished as this kid is, I don't think we've seen anyone like that in the NCAAs this year.
McDermott's on the bench getting a breather. Burton using that strength gets inside for two.
It's got to be where you go. You got to throw the ball in, make your teammates pass you the ball, wait on them, get out of the way, then go to work.
10-point lead for the Blue Jays. 5:15 to play here in the first half. Justin Kutcher alongside Donnie Marshall. The kick out, Manigat. Gets it to Artino down low. Artino unable to finish. The rebound by Juwan Johnson. Jamil Wilson, he gets fouled by Artino, and Wilson will head to the free throw line for two. Well, Thursday, Fox College Hoops returns to the Pac-12 rivalry as the Cal Golden Bears square off against the Stanford Cardinal in the conference opener for both teams. The action starts at 9 p.m. Eastern, only on Fox Sports 1. How about that? Open up conference play against your arch rival.
I mean, that's what you want, right? As long as you're at home.
Yeah.
That's exactly what you want.
Jamil Wilson can't hit the free throw. A 58% free throw shooter on the season. McDermott comes back in, replacing Will Artino. Artino picked up his first foul. And the team's sixth.
I always believe that teams like Marquette were much harder to scout and to get ready for, because a lot of what they do is based on their energy and their effort. And it's hard to mimic that in practice.
McDermott faced a double team. That pass stolen by Burton. Nice pull-up jumper, too strong, and the rebound ripped down by Devin Brooks. McDermott on the wing, Brooks. McDermott underneath. Whoa! Jamil Wilson just ripped that one out of the air. Wilson the other way, he gets the roll.
How special is this kid gonna be? Goes and gets the ball, might have been a goaltend. Have to look at it again, but the presence of mind to be under control and go finish.
McDermott's got to be careful. He and Wilson jawing a bit. He's getting physical. Remember, McDermott's got one foul. Doesn't want to pick up his second. Loggy's three, can't get the roll. Wilson with the rebound. Derek Wilson off to Johnson for three. Good rebound by Rogge. Chapman, the kick out. McDermott again asking for it on the low block. Good help there by Thomas, a double team. Chapman. McDermott able to tip it out. Rogge for three. This place almost went nuts.
McDermott does, we've told you, so many great things keeping that ball alive, but Marquette is guarding him so well right now. Go double him, get it out of his hand.
A steal by Manigat. And he'll throw it down.
Talked to Jahans Manigat before the game. Asked him how the piano playing was going. He said, you know, the first couple of months, it was rough. But I just have to think of it as getting a steal. I promise you, getting a steal and taking it the distance.
10-point lead for Creighton. Burton, blocked from behind, out of bounds, will stay Marquette basketball. 2:46 to play here in this first half. The first ever Big East Conference game for these Creighton Blue Jays. Will Artino off the bench. Maybe going in slow-mo, but we feel like we're moving back and forth here so far.
Rob Stone here in Los Angeles, coming up at halftime. Highlights from the opening day of Big East play, including a pair of overtime thrillers, plus number 17 UConn in big trouble at Houston. Now, back to Justin and Donnie in Omaha.
All right, thanks, Rob. Happy New Year to everyone out there as it's getting down to the final hour or so of 2013. And here at CenturyLink Center, Omaha, these Creighton Blue Jays are doing what they do well. 8 for 22 from three-point land. They have 10 assists on 13 field goals.
Yeah, when you look across the stat sheet and you look up at the score, you say you're up 10, 2:46 to go. Must be pretty balanced. No, Creighton has not attempted a free throw in this game. And only 6 for Marquette on the other side. So right now, obviously, not even looking at the score, you would say the tempo, the way this game is going, is in Creighton's favor. They can get out in transition. They are not a one-dimensional team.
Steve Taylor has checked in for the first time for Marquette, wearing number 25. And the inbounds pass, Derek Wilson goes back to get it. Marquette is in the bonus here for the last 2:45. Shot clock down to 4. Wilson has it blocked. Brooks brings it down. Chapman. Brooks will fire from 3. That's way off the mark. Artino tries to save it into the hands of Juan Anderson. Mayo has taken off the face mask. He's not a fan of it. He's not like Rip Hamilton.
No. But that's not safe. We know he's had that broken nose.
Taylor, the pull-up jumper. And the rebound by Devin Brooks.
You got to get Gardner down in the box area. Just can't have him rolling around outside. Let him use his size down low.
A timeout taken here by Creighton because Greg McDermott wants to get Doug McDermott back in the game. 10-point lead for the Blue Jays, 1:54 to play here in the first half. Welcome back to Omaha, Nebraska. Time for the DirecTV game summary. Marquette started off 3 for 13 since they're shooting 50%. But 8 of 22 for Creighton as they lead by 10, 34-24. And back into the game is Doug McDermott with 1:54 to go, as well as Avery Dingman, Maniga, Chapman, and Rogge. So if we saw anything from the first time that Dingman was in, they're going to double off of him.
Pick your poison. Your poison you'll take is the guy who plays the least amount of minutes. That's Dingman in this case.
McDermott. Shot clock down to 10. Maniga for 3. Got it.
John Hans Maniga just knows where to be on the floor.
13-point lead, largest of the game. And now a backcourt violation here for Marquette.
Marquette has 9 turnovers and only 10 made field goals. Can't happen on the road. And just look at the sweet release. He's waving goodbye to it. I mean, that is just textbook jump shot. Mayo can't get there quick enough.
He only shoots 43.5% from three-point line.
No, that's it. He's got to get in the gym then. He's got to stay in, right?
You know, you would think at some point this team would start working on shooting.
It's interesting talking to the assistant coach, Pat Sellers. He's been all over the place. Hofstra, UConn. He's been on a lot of benches. He said he came here. This is his first year. Even he became a better shooter when he came to Omaha.
Is that just through osmosis?
It must be.
An 11-4 run here for Creighton. Coming up on 1 minute to go here in this first half. Dingman all the way to the hoop, unable to finish. Derek Wilson back the other way, pushing it, leaves it off for Gardner. And Gardner trying to avoid stepping on some Creighton players, can't finish. And a traveling violation called here against Ethan Rogge, and that's a good call by Brian O'Connell.
On a previous play, Derek Wilson has to understand, and now he's a youngster, he's got to understand to let his guys run their lanes and get in their positions.
Jahen's Maniga is down here near midcourt.
Looks like he might have just bumped heads. Take a look. In transition. Takes a charge, falls pretty hard. Almost looked like Maniga. He took a knee from his own teammate, Ethan Rogge.
40 seconds to play here in this first half. Thomas sees the shooter. Wilson for three. McDermott tips it, and he grabs the rebound, and now Creighton can hold for the final shot.
They really do a great job of boxing out, trying to limit teams to only one shot.
The crowd here comes to their feet, appreciating the effort here in this first half. Chapman. Maniga has to put the shot up. He does, no good. And that's the way this first half will come to a close. But Creighton playing in their first ever Big East Conference game. They lead by 13 at the break. The halftime score is 37-24. Coming up, we'll take you back to Rob Stone in our Fox College Hoops studios in LA. And Happy New Year to all of you out there. It's just about 50 minutes away on the East Coast. An hour and 50 here in the Central Time. 13-point lead. Creighton leads Marquette here at the half. Justin Kutcher alongside, well, the main man from Connecticut. Yes, Donnie Marshall. Donnie, this game, we came in talking about three-point shooting for Creighton, and they have lived up to it. I mean, it is remarkable. Their spacing and what they do time and time again of getting open looks.
Well, they're showing you that they're not a one-man band, right? We know about McDermott, and obviously Marquette does as well, but their spacing has been terrific, but their ball movement, passing, this starts the game off. They set the tone. 11 assists in this game on 14 made field goals, and then you throw in guys who can drive and kick. Rogge, that's what he does. And what's your favorite pasta? I'll tell you what mine is, because I'm from the Northeast. It's Maniga. And if you're shooting like that, you can eat anything you want after this game tonight if you're Jahens.
5 different players with a three-pointer. They are 9 for 25 from three-point land. As far as this second half is concerned, what does Marquette now have to do to get back in and close this 13-point gap?
Well, you have to get touches for Devontae Gardner. He's 1 for 1. That should just not happen. I know he doesn't wow you with his numbers and his stats, but he has to get stops, and then he has to get touches. And then this guy right here, you got to slow him down. Jahen's Maniga, he understands how to play off of Doug McDermott. He will attack you in transition. I'm sure Buzz Williams let his team know very loudly at halftime what needs to be done to get back into this game in the second half.
Here in the second half, Jamil Wilson will start with Derek Wilson, Chris O'Toole, Juan Anderson, and Jake Thomas for Creighton. It'll be Austin Chapman, Doug McDermott, Ethan Rogge, Grant Gibbs, and Maniga. The original starting 5 for both teams on the floor here to open up the second half. Let's see if they go back inside to O'Toole, who had 8 points in that first half. Wilson, a skip pass to Derek Wilson. Juan Anderson, floater in the lane, rebound O'Toole. O'Toole goes back up too strong, but there's Jamil Wilson with a putback.
Attack the basket. Anderson did a great job. He has to use more of his energy, beating Gibbs off the dribble, but they attack, use their length for the offensive putback.
Gibbs goes flying, trying to fight through some screens. Top of the key, McDermott. Shot clock down to 10. Maniga all the way to the hoop, hangs in the air, and gets it swatted by Wilson. That's his second block of the night. Derek Wilson directing traffic. He does not want to shoot the ball. Anderson the kick out. Thomas, he's the shooter. And the rebound comes out to Chapman.
Like that the refs are letting him play a little bit, letting him bang. There, that's just not going to happen, though, if you're Thomas. You got to let the guy run. And then this is, to me, the X factor. Wilson doing a great job of staying engaged. McDermott fell asleep there. You got to put a body on him offensively. And then here, the last line of defense, Jamil Wilson, terrific sets on both ends of the floor.
That last foul was called against Jake Thomas. That's his third. McDermott can't finish inside. The rebound by Juan Anderson. I tell you what, Marquette's done a nice job of kind of bottling up McDermott ever since the first few minutes.
Yeah, they have. And at this end, ball movement, relax with the ball. Derek Wilson has to be a guy who steps up, can't be a non-factor at that point guard spot.
We're going to have a foul here. This is going to be called against Austin Chapman. We saw a similar foul called earlier against Jake Thomas in the same way.
Yeah, and what happens is once a player jumps, and that's a pretty good box out, the player jumps, you keep backing up, and now they're going to call that. But we just as I say, Wilson can't be a non-factor. He grabs an offensive rebound.
Deonte Burton has checked in, replacing Derek Wilson. So now you'll see Jamil Wilson run the point. Thomas gets the screen, and a foul away from the ball. Who is this going on? That'll be against
Marquette foul on number 30, Deonte Burton.
Against Deonte Burton of Marquette.
Second.
And that is going to be
returning to the Golden Eagles lineup.
I believe the second foul against Deonte Burton. And now he'll go back to the bench. And back in is Derek Wilson.
That's what Buzz Williams told us today. You know, he has to do a better job he wants to be Ron Artest, but he has to play defense like Ron Artest the entire shot clock, but he also has to make better decisions in situations like that.
Does that mean you want to be Ron Artest pre-Meta World Peace or even now?
He's, to me, the artist formerly known as Ron Artest. I just can't get the real name down. It's been a couple years already.
I agree with you. Shot clock is down to 5, and Derek Wilson will be called for the reach-around foul as McDermott was trying to post up.
Plus, Ron Artest was in the old Big East. So,
yes, he was.
That's who he wants to be. But at this end, in the new Big East, Doug McDermott knows how to work without the basketball. Look at him. He's setting screens. He's rolling. He's constantly moving. That's what makes him so difficult to guard.
Chapman saw the opening of the paint, and he gets it swatted away by Juan Anderson. Shot clock at 26.
Terrific drive. No one really spotting up. You see two of his teammates behind him. You have to move to an area where it makes a better passing angle when Chapman's driving.
McDermott left open for 3. You just cannot do that. As you said before, it's almost man down. He's going to take the shot.
Yeah, if he catches the ball and you're not up into him, it's too late.
14-point lead. Derek Wilson throws up a wild shot on a two-way with the offensive rebound and putback.
But that's okay because they had to come out and help. And now what happens, you carve out space just by, even though it was a bad shot, for a two-way to get the offensive putback.
Jamil Wilson gets called for the foul as he shoved Grant Gibbs to the floor trying to fight around that screen.
Fourth team foul.
You're running at a guy who's a stone-cold scorer. When he sees that your hands are down, it's too late. And Wilson has to know better than that and use his length.
And he learned better that time. He came out hard. McDermott hangs in the air. And the rebound into the hands of Jake Thomas. Thomas is playing with 3 fouls. Derek Wilson leaves it off for Thomas. O'Toole trying to post up. Now it's Wilson posting up against Austin Chapman, had the mismatch, and Chapman's going to be called for the foul.
Yeah,
that is the third against Austin Chapman.
Tough foul that far away from the basket. Chapman has to be a little bit smarter. Even if he catches the ball at 8, 10, 12 feet, that's okay. You have some help behind you. You can't commit the foul that far away from the basket with a guy with his back to the basket.
Also in for the Blue Jays.
Chapman has to go to the bench. Devin Brooks comes in. Rogge now going to the bench for Creighton. And Will Artino will check in. Otule, he gets a breather. Devontae Gardner's in for Marquette. And this is out of bounds off of Devin Brooks. Will stay Marquette basketball.
A lot of teams call that play from out of bounds under safe, meaning throw it as far back, it's a safe play. Creighton just pursues. They continue to come. They're not going to allow you, just because you back up to half court, to catch that ball.
The mask is back on for Todd Mayo. He played the end of that first half without it, playing with a broken nose.
Smart play. You just can't risk it. You have to play through it. He's had it on a couple games already.
Burton with a hesitation, gets it blocked, puts it back up and in. And now,
I love it. I love it. Pat Driscoll, he's a veteran in this league. So many officials will overreact and call a double technical. They'll have to go look at it. They'll spend 5 minutes trying to figure it out. Pat Driscoll, terrific call. Says, listen, Gardner, go to your end. Artino, you relax. We're playing basketball here. Terrific call right there.
it looked like Artino was going to go over and try to shake hands with Devontae Gardner.
No.
Gardner came back. No, forget that.
We're not doing that. You're wearing the wrong uniform to try to shake my hand right now.
It's now conference play. No Happy New Year to you.
This is the Big East, baby.
McDermott against Burton. McDermott for three. No good. The putback for Brooks, and it's out of bounds off of Marquette. Will be Creighton basketball when we come back. 40-30. Creighton leading by 10 over Marquette. Chris Otule working hard underneath for the Golden Eagles. The impossible feat. The year was 1977 when two legendary coaches, Al McGuire and Dean Smith, met for the national championship. Marquette's mercurial Butch Lee scored 19 points, giving the Golden Eagles their only national title. And Buzz Williams climbing up the all-time ranks as far as winningest coaches in Marquette history. Al McGuire safely in the lead right now with 295. It's going to take a little bit of time for Buzz Williams to catch up.
Well, he's got the energy and the passion and in terrific shape. Saw him last season. He was really into getting fit and getting healthier. He's got 4 kids. He said, listen, it's not just about basketball. I have to have balance in my life, and that was a part of it.
There should be a competition between he and Ed Cooley from Providence about who can lose the most weight. Ed Cooley's dropped over 100 pounds. Gibbs, the hesitation. Looking for Artino. Kicks it out. Brooks for 3. And a good rebound there by Thomas, and this foul will go against Grant Gibbs. And that will be number 3 against Gibbs. So Gibbs and Chapman both have 3 fouls for the Blue Jays. And Jake Thomas has 3 for Marquette.
Talked to Grant Gibbs at practice yesterday and said to him, you know, you're a seasoned vet. He's a 6-year senior. That's thorough. We talked about a lot, and I did some homework. This is unofficial, but did my own homework. I've been here since Sunday. He's older than 141 players in the NBA. Is that amazing?
I don't know what that
He's
says.
older than Serge Ibaka. True story.
That's unbelievable. Burton. Difficult shot. Can't get the roll. The rebound into the hands of McDermott. Avery Dingman keeps the dribble alive. McDermott posting up, wanted it. Shot clock at 10. Brooks for 2. Artino can't get the rebound. The rebound in the hands of Burton.
Great defensive set there. You pack it in and know where McDermott is. Get the ball going the other way. Wilson just pushing the heck out of the basketball, staying aggressive in transition. I love it.
The foul called against Avery Dingman. That'll send Jamil Wilson to the free throw line. This is the new Big East, so a little bit of a different map as we come all the way west to Nebraska this year, to Omaha for the Creighton Blue Jays. You've got Indianapolis with Butler. You've got Cincinnati. We had Cincinnati before with Cincinnati. Now we have Cincinnati with Xavier.
Talk about great venues. One of the reasons I chose a school in the Big East when I was coming out of high school, because I thought I wanted that NBA experience. I wanted whatever prepared me best for the NBA. Well, I tell you what, being in Omaha, this building, this atmosphere, this city, this is an NBA feel. This building has an NBA feel to it. And that's going to be huge in promoting the new Big East and also for recruiting for Creighton. And this is just a tremendous place. You got to just get out here and you'll feel it.
They averaged over 17,155 last year, which was 6th best in the country. Brooks going up against Wilson, able to put it in.
It's interesting when you say that. This year, they're 4th. There's some pretty good teams ahead of them. You're talking your Kentuckys, your Louisvilles. This building, this atmosphere, you hear it right now, folks. Creighton is the real deal.
12-point lead for the Blue Jays. Mayo with the mask off. That 3 is in and out.
You got to either leave it on or off. I think it's a distraction right now for him. He's had it on, he took it off, put it back on, and now it's off. You got to play basketball. Your team needs you, young fella.
Dingman's 3 is short. The rebound by Burton. Mayo hangs in the air, had it partially blocked. Dingman has a loose ball. Here comes Manigat. Brooks.
Wow.
Shots.
Devin Brooks. Way to show up. They've been encouraging this youngster that we need your presence. It was felt there.
The junior college transfer out of Harlem, Devin Brooks, a difficult finish. And that causes Buzz Williams to call the timeout. 14-point lead for Creighton. And here in Omaha can mean one thing. It's got to be New Year's Eve, right? 14-point lead for the Blue Jays over the Golden Eagles. And Friday, it's a showdown between 2 of the most explosive offenses in the country as 13th-ranked Oklahoma State squares off against 8th-ranked Missouri in the AT&T Cotton Bowl Classic. Coverage begins Friday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern only on Fox. Justin Kutcher alongside Donnie Marshall back here at CenturyLink Center, Omaha. Doug McDermott, who came in averaging nearly 25 points per game, Donnie, has been held to 13 here in this one.
Yeah, they only have a couple of losses this season, but one that kind of stands out is when McDermott was 2 for 12 against George Washington. They really, in their minds, had no reason losing, but no business losing to George Washington, but clearly George Washington, you're gonna struggle shooting. But when teams figure out that you don't put the ball on the floor, how are you going to find other ways to score? And McDermott has to do that right now, even though they are still up 14.
Devin Brooks will pull it back out here for the Blue Jays. Turnover. Manigat was looking there for McDermott. This is off the foot of Wilson, and it will be Creighton basketball.
And you kind of see Marquette's issues a little bit. You know, still kind of not understanding what their identity is and who they are and what makes them, or what's going to make them a good team. Well, I tell you what's going to keep them from being a good team, and that's turning the basketball over on the road.
10 turnovers now for Marquette, trailing by 14. Manigat, good bounce pass and the finish by Devin Brooks.
Guard to guard, it's just tremendous. Draw a guy, find your point guard in the paint. The spacing was so much better on that set.
Anderson was wide open, passed up a shot, now turns it over. 16-point lead for Creighton. That is the largest lead of the night for the Blue Jays. And these fans again come to their feet. Manigat in the corner for 3.
Boy, they really find skip passes. If you stay spaced out, your teammate will find you. That's what the success of Creighton is based on. They share the basketball.
Buzz Williams forced to call another timeout. A 9-0 run by the Blue Jays, and they lead by 19. They are dancing here in Omaha as the Blue Jays lead by 19. And this ball movement is just impressive.
Drive, draw, kick, head up. That's really what makes this play work, is that you have guards, Chapman, Brooks doing a good job, Manigat, who drive the ball, but they keep their eyes up and they know where teammates are going to be on the perimeter.
And it helps also when you find guys on the perimeter who all shoot above 40% from three-point land. A foul away from the ball. And this foul will be called against Ethan Rogge. Well, the good news for Marquette, the score's still the same. It didn't change. It's 49-30. Creighton on top. Welcome back to Fox College Hoops presentation of Big East basketball, brought to you by the New York Life Insurance Company. Justin Kutcher alongside Donnie Marshall here at CenturyLink Center, Omaha. 17,390, that's capacity, and I'm pretty sure we're at capacity. A 19-point lead here for Creighton over Marquette. Marquette came in preseason pick #1 in the Big East. Creighton was picked 3rd. Derek Wilson having trouble getting it in. Gets it out to his outlet, Steve Taylor. It's karaoke here at the arena.
Well, their team's giving them something to sing about, that's for sure. And it's not just, this is like Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band. Well, the E Street Band has really stepped up.
You just made our producer, Max Linewan, and our director, Mike Helling, incredibly happy.
I mean, the E Streeters have really stepped up, man, and it shows you why in the preseason a brand new team in the Big East was so respected. It really does. You know, #3, I think they can live with that because they fly below the radar a little bit. No pressure.
Foul was called on Steve Taylor, his first. And that is the team's second here in the second half. McDermott sets the screen. Brooks trying to find McDermott. Stolen by Wilson. Burton running the floor. He has it poked away and kept in play. They should reset the shot clock.
They did.
And now they do.
A great defense on the other end by Wilson.
Thomas for 3. They need it. Oh, they need a couple more of those too.
And he needs to stay aggressive, but they have to run stuff for him. He's a kid who cannot get his own shot. And when you have a guy who can shoot the ball as well as him, but can't create his own, you have to create it for him.
Now an offensive foul, illegal screen by Ethan Rogge.
I mean, this is just Marquette basketball at its best. You don't play the scoreboard. There's a foul, but you continue to play. And then what happens, you come down, just play through it. Don't get upset. Stay with your stuff. Derek Wilson, be a point guard. Thomas knocked down a 3.
Derek Wilson not happy being taken out by Buzz Williams. Told him, he said, no, coach, keep me in, keep me in. He went to the bench, spoke with Buzz Williams. I wonder how long he'll be on that bench for.
I like it. You're in this atmosphere. You're a youngster and you want to be on the floor. Tells you a little bit about his character.
Johnson, nice cradle, taking it all the way to the hoop. Juwan Johnson, the freshman from Memphis, able to finish.
Ian Anderson, that's what they do. They have to do a better job of that, though. When they see cutters and they can't hit those cutters down under the basket, you have to put your head down and get to the rim.
Grant Gibbs back in the game here for the Blue Jays. Doesn't use the screen. McDermott picked up the dribble. Shot clock at 8. Rogge the deep 3. And the rebound into the hands of Thomas. Here comes Jamil Wilson. Gardner's been quiet. Johnson, good jump stop with a pull-up jumper. A 7-0 run here for Marquette makes it a 12-point ball game. The question is, where's McDermott? He's been quiet. There he is, puts it on the floor. McDermott takes a bump, can't get the rebound. Gardner with the rebound.
I think that scouting report said to make him dribble the basketball. That's exactly what they're doing.
Thomas, he draws the foul against McDermott. And that is number 2 against Doug McDermott. And team foul number 7, it'll be 1-on-1.
Yeah, look at this. When you have athleticism and length, you have to find a way to use it. Open lane, you have to attack. Love that look right there, the focus to make the basket. Love that about Buzz Williams' coach teams is they don't play the scoreboard. Most teams look up and they think, oh, we're out of this. We're on the road playing against the highest scoring team in the conference. Let's hang our heads. Continuing Marquette to play with confidence to get themselves back into this game. Now, what, down 11?
Here they are now with 8:32 to go. They're in the bonus, shooting free throws the rest of the way. Now, is that a good thing? As a team, they shoot 66% from the free throw line. They're 5 for 10 at the line here tonight.
Always a good thing when you can stop the clock and have a chance to score. I don't care what you're shooting from the free throw line.
10-point ball game, 9-0 run. Gibbs into the corner. Maniga for 3. Snaps the 9-0 run. Maniga now with 16 and a turnover as Burton gets called for the travel.
Well, this is Maniga's 100th straight start, and he's making it very, very memorable. He is knocking down shots. Season high 16 points, and he's not forcing anything. Stroking the basketball, continuing to be a threat when they've been dialing it in defensively on McDermott.
This follows up 15 against Chicago State on Sunday. The first time he's gone back-to-back double figures in scoring this season. This time, Juwan Johnson closed out much better. Didn't want to let Maniga shoot. Chapman, Rogge for 3.
Like I said, it's more than just the boss, Bruce Springsteen. It's about the East Readers. They know how to play without McDermott. That's what makes them so potent in the Big East this year.
Foul called against Will Artino. Free throws coming up. But the night belongs to Jahans Maniga. 16 points, a season high, and his team leads 55-39. 16-point lead for the Creighton Blue Jays over Marquette. This is the 5th game here in this quintuple header today on Fox Sports 1 as we bring you up to New Year's. Let's get you caught up on what happened. In game 1, it was St. John's against Xavier. Xavier won by 10, 70-60. In game 2, it was the first real thriller of the day as Seton Hall won in double OT, 81-80. Game 3 went to Georgetown by 7 points over DePaul, 61-54 in the game that preceded us. Villanova in OT at Hinkle Fieldhouse beats Butler 76-73. We kick off Big East Conference play here for 2013-14 on the final day of 2013.
I mean, how about Xavier holding St. John's to 31% from the field? Really went in there focused. Providence, Bryce Cotton, I know they didn't pull it out, but he played 50 minutes. Talk about being in shape and being amped up for the Big East season to start. Markelle Starks, we know how good he is. He played almost every minute of that game as well. So it's awesome to see these kids right now, the way they're fighting now that the Big East season is here. And that kid right there has to continue to fight, keep his mind in the game. You know, teams are going to dial in on him. And not that you want to compare Big East with NBC and things like that, but you're here now.
Yep.
How do you adjust to what's right in front of you now? He's going to have to figure that out, but it's only going to make him that much better of a player.
Devontae Gardner able to make both at the free throw line. Makes it a 14-point ball game. Gibbs gets the screen. Gibbs Puts it up, no good. Gets the rebound. Puts it up again. This time he's able to finish.
Pretty good. We talked about his age. He actually took Doug McDermott's scholarship. Doug McDermott right now technically is a walk-on on this team, so they could make Gibbs eligible. As you see Burton going to the basket using that strong left hand, but I just think it's interesting. Well, Doug McDermott may be the best walk-on in the history of college basketball.
Well, you know, it's funny because last year I did an Iowa game. I'm speaking with Fran McCaffrey. And McCaffrey, I asked him, you know, you never recruited Doug McDermott. And I asked him why. He goes, well, his dad didn't recruit him.
Can't point the finger at only me.
That foul's against Jamil Wilson.
This is interesting. We have 6:36 to play in this game. This will be the first free throw that Creighton shoots. If that doesn't define what they are as a team offensively, nothing will.
Well, they have attempted 33 three-pointers on the night. Their school record for a game is 35. And this is the first free throw that went in. And you guessed it, McDermott will be checking in for Will Artino.
And Doug's going to have some mixed emotions depending on the outcome of this game. If they don't hang on, you know, he will have some questions and some conversation with his teammates of why, you know, he wasn't touching the ball more. And they can point to the defense of Marquette. If they win this game, more emotions. You have to accept that your teammates really helped you.
He's got 13 points on 13 field goals and a travel against Jake Thomas. That's 14 turnovers now for Marquette.
I always believe three things you have to do when you're on the road. You have to make free throws, you have to protect your glass rebounding defensively, and you can't turn the basketball over. And right now, just 14 turnovers for Marquette, helping them dig this hole they're in.
Foul away from the ball. This will go against Thomas. That'll be number 4 on him. And the team's 7, so 1-on-1 here for McDermott.
Oh, he's got the size advantage, McDermott. Look, he's on one guy. Next thing you know, good screen by Gibbs, maybe a little brush screen, probably lazier defense, I think. And you just switch into it with a smaller guy. Marquette has to do a better job right now with 6:14 to play of keeping a bigger, stronger body on McDermott.
McDermott essentially automatic at the free throw line. Over 90%. He has now made 40 straight free throws. If that's not the ultimate broadcaster jinx, I don't know what is. Doesn't matter.
Well, I would have told him it was you, not me. That's for sure if he missed that free throw.
$18-point lead for the Blue Jays. Wilson has it blocked from behind by Gibbs. Here comes Creighton. Double screen for Gibbs. Skip pass in the corner. Chapman for 3. And a weak side rebound for Jamil Wilson. Wilson pulls up from 15 and hits.
The young fella's special. He really is. Once he figures out how special he is, I don't know if Buzz Williams will be able to keep him in that uniform. But it's all about being consistent. Night in, night out, playing the same way for your team.
Gibbs all the way to the hoop. No good. The putback by McDermott. McDermott now is 17. Gardner trying to get position. And Gardner steps on the baseline, and Gardner took a shot to the face. Frustration has been mounting all night long for Gardner.
Justin, what makes a great scorer? Don't answer that. I'll give it to you right now. The ability to score when you're struggling, and that's what McDermott, that's exactly what he does. Even when they're not running things for him and the defense seems to be jamming him up, he pursues the ball and he finds other ways to score.
McDermott, he's going to get called for the offensive foul, trying to post up against Derek Wilson.
That's a tough one. If he had a guy his size guarding him, that elbow would have probably been about the chest area, but watch that left arm. He is holding him off a little bit. That's a tough call, especially when there's a guy 6'2", behind you.
I have to side with the little guy on that one.
You would. You shouldn't be down there. That's what I would tell you. Keep your butt on the perimeter.
Thomas playing with 4 fouls, back in here for Marquette. Wilson has it stripped on the way up, gets it back. Can't finish from up close. Otule got the loose ball, and the foul now will be called against Jahen's Manigat.
I tell you, a guy who lost his eye as a youngster, who's had multiple injuries in his 6th year at Marquette. He is so valuable to this team, and I guarantee you, when they look back and think, okay, the years that Otule should have redshirted, and he kept coming back and working at it, it's not just the fact that they allowed him to come back and he went through these injuries and people feel sorry for him. He worked his way back. It says so much about a kid, and I do mean kid because he hasn't had the opportunity to grow like most players in the NCAAs who are there 4 years, you know? So you have to give this guy a ton of credit. He's so valuable to his team right now.
It's the holiday season, so we've got Buddy the Elf. Seacrest
showed up. He's going to have to hurry up and get back to the West Coast, isn't he? There's Minion over there in the corner of Despicable Me fans. I'm a dad, so I would know what Despicable Me is.
I tell you what, we're getting very close to the ball dropping in Times Square. Almost midnight on the East Coast. 6 minutes to go to midnight. 4:18 to go here in this ball game. Skip pass. Gibbs left wide open. Gibbs in trouble. Not sure how that wasn't a travel, but he gets his own rebound. And now a timeout will be taken by Creighton. 63-45. 4:01 to go here in the second half. Creighton on top of Marquette. See, I wish I had one of those outfits. I would have worn that tonight.
I wish you would have told me earlier. I would have found a way to find you some of those stripes.
You are no Sarah Kustow. She would have found a way. 63-45, 4:01 to go. Justin Kutcher alongside Donnie Marshall, bringing in the new year 2014 here on Fox Sports 1. They will send this one all the way down the floor to Manigat. Shot clock at 10. Gibbs looking for the back door, intercepted by Jake Thomas.
Gibbs just picking his dribble up a little bit too early. Got to keep it alive against Marquette.
Jamil Wilson posting up against Manigat. Pretty spin move, did everything but finish, and the rebound into the hands of Ethan Aragi.
Too much one-on-one for Marquette. Not a lot of screening. Guys aren't cutting off of each other. They're catching the ball, standing, and then trying to go one-on-one. Really has been the story for them most of this second half.
We talked about taking care of the ball. They haven't done that. 15 turnovers. We talked about rebounds. They're out-rebounding Creighton by 4. Shot clock down to 4. McDermott, pretty spin move. Little baby hook shot by Doug McDermott.
Just knows angles, no spacing.
Mayo the other way gets fouled, and he will head to the free throw line when we come back. A 20-point lead, largest lead of the night for the Blue Jays. Looks like they're on their way to start this Big East season 1-0.
The ball is about to drop at Times Square, and thankfully, Melissa Etheridge has stopped singing. Enjoy the countdown, everyone. Fox Sports Live, right after the Creighton Marquette game.
At 30. Close. Here we go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 5,
2013 is gone. 2014 is here. Todd Mayo makes the first free throw. And we have taken you from the afternoon here all the way up to 2014 on Fox Sports 1 with 5 Big East basketball games. Xavier won the opener over St. John's 70-60. Seton Hall defeated Providence in double OT 81-80. Georgetown won 61-54 over DePaul. Villanova won in overtime 76-73 over Butler. And now an offensive foul against Austin Chapman as we look at our DirecTV game summary. Creighton Blue Jays 18 assists on 24 field goals. You see the story for Marquette. Really a story is the fact that Devontae Gardner has done essentially nothing here tonight. Thomas for 3.
Well, every time he caught the ball, Creighton doubled down. You know, he couldn't use that size. He caught the ball very low below the block. A lot of times when he did touch the ball, but, you know, he may have to talk to some of his teammates later, and Buzz Williams will address it. Got to run more stuff for Gardner downstairs.
This is the first Big East game ever for the Creighton Blue Jays as Gibbs able to put it in. They're going to move to 1-0 in Big East play. Preseason pick number 3. And if you look at their upcoming schedule, they will take on Seton Hall at Seton Hall on Saturday, January 4th. That is this coming Saturday. And now Creighton can just play keep away here. These fans here in Omaha have been talking about this game this year since about April. Since McDermott announced he was coming back, he wanted to come back to play in the Big East Conference. Chapman puts it on the floor, the runner no good, gets his own rebound, and they can kick it back out.
And you couldn't have written a better story. You bring a tough Marquette team in here that defensively is one of the best in the country. New Year's Eve, bringing in 2014 in a new conference with a win. And like we talked about earlier, not sure this is the biggest game in the history of this program, but it's most definitely the most historic game.
Gibbs the kick out. Maniga for 3. Short gets his own rebound. Shot clock is turned off, and Creighton can dribble this one out. Listen to it here in Omaha. .35 three-point field goal attempts. That ties a single-game record for the Blue Jays. And this Creighton team, which was picked 3rd preseason, will beat the team that was picked number 1, Marquette. Our Land Rover player of the game is not Doug McDermott, but instead it's the senior from Ottawa, the guy they call Canadian Red Bull, Jahans Maniga.
And really that jump shot, those moves to the basket just as smooth, if not more than his piano playing, and he did it at both ends, knocking down shots, finishing strong, steals in transition. And he's going to be one of those guys that they're going to have to pay attention to in the Big East this year.
He is our Land Rover player of the game. 67-49. Creighton defeats Marquette. Creighton is now 11-2. Marquette is 8-6. For Donnie Marshall and our entire Fox Sports 1 crew, I'm Justin Kutcher. Happy New Year, everybody. Stay tuned. Coming up next, there's no better way to ring in the new year than Fox Sports Live. Jay, Dan, the crew. Happy New Year, guys.
It's